What in the world did I just watch? Let's talk about it. Hey everybody, we have another film review. Today we are taking a look at the Rivals of Amziah King, made in 2025 but released in 2026. And this film follows a character, Amziah King, who's a beekeeper and a honey bottler. And it shows him kind of going through his industry and how it works. And then his foster daughter comes into his life, and he wants to try to reintroduce her into the industry and get her involved with this. And then as the movie goes on, it gets a little bit in depth into the nature of the competition of the industry and how kind of backsided and kind of, I don't want to say evil, but a lot of bad people are in the industry and they all steal from each other and things like that. So that's really kind of what this movie is about. So, all right, where the fuck do I start with this movie? This movie was really weird and messed with my head. I don't even know where to begin. So starting off, the positives I'll say is Matthew McConaughey does a great job with what he's given in this role. He plays the main character, Amziah King, and he's a really engaging character. You just naturally kind of like him. He's a lot of fun and, kind of also laid back, but you like him. He's a really good character. But then you bring in his daughter, played by Angelica Looking Glass, and I think this is kind of maybe her first major role, and you can really tell that she is not very good. She has a good look about her, and they do a lot of slow motion, just close-ups on her. A lot of them. You could make a drinking game out of it. It's pretty crazy, but she is a big part of this movie and kind of really drags it down. I don't think she has the experience to really kind of take the lead in this kind of movie and, make you want to root for her, essentially. But man, where do I even start outside of it? I just wanted to get those two characters out of the way because they're the biggest part of this movie and the biggest focus that you really need to be. If you buy into these characters, you have the best chance of kind of liking this movie. But man, the big issue I have with this film is the screenwriting, the narrative structure of this film. I describe this as, at least the first half of the film is the most kind of linear movie I've seen in a long time. And what I mean by that, it's just scenes keep on happening that just kind of move the plot forward, but not really setting up things for the future. It just kind of life the movie. It's like, oh, this happened. Now this happened. Now this random things happen. And it just keeps on moving forward. And it's really supposed to, show you the life of this character and also try to support the bond he is now having with his daughter who comes back into his life. And I don't feel like the film does a very good job at all whatsoever to really set up what this film is ultimately about and also make you really buy into that bond that this daughter character will really want to take the reins of this industry moving forward. There just isn't enough meat on the bone in regards to like setting all of that up. There are little sprinkles here and there throughout the beginning of the film that really kind of set up what this film is ultimately going to be about, but you don't get into that until 1 hour into the film. You have an hour of just craziness of like random scenes and things like that, and a lot of musical numbers. The music in this is pretty darn good, kind of folk banjo-y type music. It's really good, but they do a lot of breaking just to go into music. And yes, they do kind of do the musical performances and also set up kind of montages to really show the progression of time and things like that. But it really kind of disorients you, and you don't really get a true understanding of how much time is truly passing in the story, which again made it difficult for me to really buy in to the relationship between these two characters and how they're gonna, bond, and how the daughter character ultimately like really gets super passionate about the industry and things like that. It just didn't work for me. And there's just so many just random scenes at the beginning, like kind of like WTF moments that ultimately don't serve anything to the plot of this movie except just to have a weird scene that you can have Matthew McConaughey just kind of react to in, a very entertaining way, but still it doesn't feed into what this movie is about. And that's what really killed me. That, you don't have the classic inciting incident about 15, 20 minutes in the movie that really propels the action to move forward, to really set up your midpoint and things like that, which this movie has a midpoint, but it takes a really big swing and, like, really, for me, kills the momentum of this film. It really just, like, the movie just stops and becomes very grating and difficult to watch in the second half, especially because you've just spent an hour watching all these random scenes and really buying into a few other things, and then all of a sudden, just a 180. This movie is completely about something different, and they hinted at small things within the first hour of the film, but not enough for me to really like, oh, this is what the movie's going to be about, and I now care about any of this. I didn't care about any of it, and a lot of it is just because the way the screenplay was, put together, and the way the movie was put together, just really made you uh, focus on these random just life moments in the first half, and then you're in this kind of thriller-ish investigation thing in the second half, and it's just super weird, and I didn't like it, and it just became really grating, especially because, again, the daughter character, babe Angelina, just, she can't carry this film. It's her performance isn't strong enough. On top of that, the editing choices that they make in this film are very distracting. They make specific editing choices that really kind of do a lot of freeze frame while, like, dialogue and music and things are going over it, and then it's kind of like a stutter technique and things like that I don't really think add much to this. It just, they're trying to make some sort of style about it, but it just becomes more, again, distracting and grating as you watch this film. So, and this film does run slightly over 2 hours long, so it is a long haul to get through, and ultimately just wasn't a good experience for me. So, and then finally, you have Kurt Russell in this film, who is barely in this film, and I don't think not even enough to be on the primary headline of this. He has such little to do with this film that is kind of laughable. So ultimately, this film, I'm going to give it a 1.5 out of 5 stars. It just didn't do it for me. Nothing about this film. I was basically laugh tracking this entire film. It was just so ridiculous, and I just couldn't take any of it seriously. Despite Matthew McConaughey putting on a good performance, that wasn't enough to really let this film, like, become something great for me. So, all right, well, let me know in the comments what you think. Really appreciate it. If you could like, comment, and subscribe. Yeah, let me know. Did you see this movie? Are you going to check it out? I don't foresee very many people going to see this, but you never know. So really appreciate it again. And as always, if I don't see you again, bye forever.